With ARC Raiders getting so popular, it shined a light on the extraction shooter genre so much so that even my friend who isn't even that much of a gamer started playing it. But with that newfound popularity, I decided to go back in time a bit. Before ARC, before Delta Force, DMZ, or even Tarkov, way back in 2016. 2016 because that's when Tom Clancy's The Division came out, and with it, its very popular extraction mode called Survival. If you're at all familiar with The Division, you're probably wondering why I'm talking about a looter shooter in an extraction video. That's because while yes, the Division franchise was and still is a looter shooter, it has its extraction elements in the form of the dark zones and already mentioned extraction mode Survival. Today, we'll talk about Survival. In the future, I might circle back to the dark zones in the base game. If you'd like to see me cover other aspects of the Division game, please leave a comment below. And with that out of the way, let's suit up, get to the chopper, and survive this. So, Survival. What is it? Survival mode is a PvE or PvPvE extraction mode where you have to fight, craft, and survive your way out of a snowstorm. To fully understand the events of the game mode, I think it's important we understand the setting of the Division games in general. Please don't click off the video, there won't be any spoilers and I'll be brief. A deadly human-engineered virus dubbed the Green Poison is released in New York during the Christmas season on Black Friday, infecting everyone and causing society to collapse. Sleeper agents known as the Division are activated to restore order, uncover who caused the outbreak, and stop rival factions formed in the chaos from seizing control of the city. In the events of the Survival game mode, the Division uncovered experimental antiviral medication for the Green Poison, which sadly ended up in the already mentioned Dark Zone. It was your job to go in and get it before the storm picks up. During a peaceful helicopter ride, a giant ad telling you to subscribe to my channel hits the chopper and you crash. So, to be fair, that all could have been avoided if you just subscribed. To prevent something like this from happening again, go ahead and click the button, as well as the bell so you don't miss out. In that crash, your character gets impaled on a plank with what I can only assume are rusty nails, and most likely contracts a staph infection. But that's just me guessing, given that we're not really told what infection we got, just that there is an infection. It's basically just there to give you a countdown for how long the game lasts, which I think is a pretty cool way of doing it. Now this is where the fun begins. I think this mode strikes a very fine balance of realism and gamified simplicity. What do I mean by that? The main objective here is to gear up, craft a gas mask filter so you can enter the dark zone, find the antivirals, craft a flare gun, and extract safely. On your way, you'll be battling the cold, hunger, thirst, the infection itself, as well as rival factions and optionally, if chosen the PvPvE mode, other agents. You have to salvage or craft better weapons and gear, as well as gadgets and clothing. Don't want to be cold? Find pieces of fabric to craft yourself a thicker jacket. In this mode, what you wear does matter, so drop the I gotta look slay attitude and put on that ugly brown puffy jacket. It'll keep you alive. Materials are broken down into different rarities just like the weapons and gear. In the surrounding area you will find green and blue rarity items which are standard and specialized. Materials can be upgraded in rarity, meaning you can use 3 green electronic parts to craft 1 blue electronic parts, and the same goes for every other material. As you get closer to the dark zone, you will encounter tougher enemies and in turn, a chance to get better gear. While you're doing all that, your infection clock is ticking. You have about 55 minutes before you succumb to what is most likely septic shock and die. The infection can be halted for some time. Around the map you will find painkillers and medicine. Chuck those down like your Dr. House telling Foreman he's black.
You are a black man.
That'll buy you some precious minutes, but keep in mind, more often you use them, the faster your agent builds a tolerance to it, and their effects get worse and worse. And you finally made it to the Dark Zone, also known as Ground Zero. Here you will have to be more careful if you didn't prepare well enough. Enemies are tough, but also drop superior and high-end items. You can also find caches which you can pick up and keep if you extract with them successfully. You find the antivirals and craft yourself a flare gun. You You can practically feel the warmth of your base of operations, but not so fast. I'm sure you noticed while running near an extraction point your HUD started flickering as well as your audio got a bit noisy. That is not a coincidence. Something's watching you. But you don't think much of it and fire that flare. The second that flare goes up, your HUD glitches. Isaac warns you about an armored hostile in your proximity, and your gadgets become useless as someone jammed your systems. You see nothing, so you run for cover. Then in the distance, a single enemy approaches, but he behaves differently. He dives for cover, uses gadgets like the sticky grenade, jammers, and healing stations, tries to flush you out of cover, and on top of all that, he heals himself and hits like a truck. These are called hunters. In my opinion, the most terrifying presence you can encounter in this game, and I think they are somewhere up there in the most terrifying enemies tier list. Now, I will admit I may have overhyped them a tad bit, but I think they are a worthy adversary. Unlike the bullet sponges looter shooters usually throw at you, these guys have actual mechanical depth to them. The reason I consider them so terrifying is because back then, we had no clue who the fuck they were. They'd just appear, make light work of you, and at the end, execute you in cold fucking blood. After that, Ubisoft decided to throw them into every piece of Division-related content, respectfully removing the mystery and the novelty these tactical monsters once possessed. Classic Ubisoft. But after you defeat them, you extract, and every cache you collected in the Dark Zone you get to keep and open. Woo! A winner is you. So now that you heard me yap about all this, you're still probably wondering why I'm glazing this game mode from a game released back in 2016. Because I think this game mode was an excellent blueprint for a gritty and semi-serious extraction mode. It was serious enough to force you to battle the elements, play cautiously because you were outmatched in terms of gear, and look for materials to craft and scavenge provisions so you could survive. The feel of the whole game mode screams immersion and danger. You are wounded, outgunned, and very much doomed unless you play your cards right and focus on one thing: getting out alive. You are not an elite soldier like the ghosts from Ghost Recon. While you are the Division, this scenario should put even the toughest agents to the test. When I played the recent Cold Snap event in Arc Raiders, it brought me back to the more serious part of the game, the part which shows how weather can be just as deadly as the things in the world, and how making sure your own body works well enough is equally as important as the gear you bring. Now, I'm not saying Arc needs to introduce these survival mechanics. Not at all. It's its own thing and should stay that way. But it's interesting to see how an old game from 2016 managed to innovate and try something that would only become popular way down the line. Tom Clancy's The Division is a great game. It has a fun story and mechanics unique to it, and I think you should experience it for yourself. Survival is a blast of a game mode and will be returning to Division 2 sometimes in 2026 by popular demand. Like I said before, if you'd like me to cover Division's Dark Zones and their extraction elements, feel free to tell me, as I would very much like to do that in the future. Well, that's been it from me, agents. Keep your head on a swivel and stay safe out there.